1, 2, 3.
USA!
Shawn Nadelen needed no more inspiration these last 6 months other than to know why he was meant to come to Manchester, and a mental picture of Canada's number 24. Nadelen, less than 6 months removed from knee surgery that would keep more pedestrian athletes sidelined for a year, is a starting defenseman for the U.S. national team. His assignment? John Grant Jr.
We definitely enjoy each other's company at first, but then it gets into the headbutting and the physical play and beating each other up as much as we can, and it's fun to do. But really, I'm here to help out Team USA however I can, and if they want me to lean on him a little bit and test him, or go take care of somebody else, it's whatever they need.
Few thought Nadelen would make it to Manchester when he tore his ACL during a Philadelphia Wings game in January, and after Herculean rehabilitation, he's here tussling with Grant again.
When I went down, I kind of had a feeling this was something that wasn't normal when I went down in the game. So obviously the World Games was the first thing that came into my mind, and once I found out it was the ACL, I was like, it took me about 2 minutes, and then to sulk a little bit, and then I was like, all right, next step, surgery, let's get this thing rolling, and no time to waste.
The hardest part of the rehab, Nadelen says, was waking up every 2 hours to treat his knee and exercise his leg muscles. The first month was critical.
I guess what people say, having a baby, for those first 2 to 3 weeks, where waking up every 2 hours, making sure that you were doing the rehab with the icing and ankle pumps and medication and everything there, and then moving along from there as far as getting the flexion and getting the knee to move and bend with the timeline that was needed.
Nadelen's intensive rehab was overseen by Team USA's Dr. Les Matthews, as well as Nadelen's wife Mary, a certified athletic trainer who works at Towson, where Nadelen is the assistant men's lacrosse coach.
Baltimore had the worst winter they ever had right after my surgery. We got dumped with 80 inches of snow, so not only was my wife taking care of me, she was also shoveling all the snow that we got by herself.
Nadelen lost nearly 20 pounds after the surgery and put it back on in muscle. He says he feels strong and has had no issues with his knee.
Knock on wood.
Nadelen will need all the strength he can muster against Grant. The rivals renewed pleasantries Saturday in a preliminary match. Grant, who after the game called Nadelen's comeback a testament to his tenacity, carried Canada to a 10-9 victory with a dominant fourth quarter. DJ Driscoll split time with Nadelen guarding Grant.
Have kind of little tricks which work on him, trying to lift, get one hand on his stick, just be a really pain in his butt. Really, we wanted to mix up where we were picking him out, make it really difficult for him to initiate, kind of get into his head a little bit, try to have him take himself out of the game. But we knew, he loves the inside roll. He's great behind the back, where he had that goal on me where he got topside and put it right over his left shoulder, right over Doc's shoulder. So we know he's capable of that, and it's really just trying to ride him out and have the defense dictate kind of defense where we're going to drive him and have the slide come when we need it.
Sometimes it's not enough.
You do everything you can. You're playing great position defense. You're lifting his hands, and he's a great player. It makes a great play. That's going to happen.
He's just so creative. You can be hanging all over him. With both hands. You can basically tackling him at one point, and he can do anything with either hand. Obviously, he's a strong lefty. Everybody knows that. And when he has two hands on his stick, he's magical. And even when he has one hand on his stick, lefty or righty, he can make things happen. And he's big. He's more physical than you think. He's got a lot on top. He's a load. He's probably got 40 or 50 pounds on me, and he's a lot to handle when he leans in on you. And he's so skilled. No matter which way you're turning him or banging him, he just takes it.
It's a challenge Nadelen envisioned through 5 months of painstaking rehabilitation.
It was definitely a motivation for me during rehab to know that I was getting back to be able to, take on him, and knowing what he was all about from previous experience helped me, help me stay in the weight room and get stronger, and do some more quad pumps, and get as strong as I could, knowing that I had to throw him around as much as I could.